All right, this is a little adventure in folk playing, or finger playing, really. What I want to start with, though, is 3 chords where you can do all your playing in one position without having to chain strings on the right hand, which will be handy. Also, they're very useful chords, and you should recognize you'll have heard a lot of material using exactly these chords. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the G chord with 1 finger only on the 3rd fret on G on the bass string. The 5th string will be skipped, and the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd will be open, and the 1st will be skipped. And what I want you to do with your right hand is put your middle finger on the 2nd string, your index finger on the 3rd string, and your thumb will play the 6th string and the 4th string, like this. And you'll keep time with this. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll go low to high to low to high. And this can be done on any chord, but we'll use these as a place to start. And this 4 count that we're playing will be the same beat as a strum. It'll be like, you're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. A little more slowly for right now. There are 3 patterns I want you to know. The first one is what you call a straight roll. It's kind of like a banjo roll. You're going to play thumb on the 6th string, your index finger is picking up and back toward you. Your thumb is playing down and away from you, right? You can play thumb on the 6th string, up on the 3rd string, thumb on the 4th string, middle finger on the 2nd. Now that's only 2 beats. That's 4 notes, but it's 2 beats because the beats are counted with the bass note. So you're going to play thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle. That's a full 4 beats because it's 4 bass beats. So very slowly, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb, middle. More rapidly, thumb, index, thumb, middle. It's sort of seamless. Okay, now, what I want you to do now is, just so you don't get too bored sitting on the G all day, is go to a C chord, but you don't change the bass note. Your 2nd finger will come down on the 4th string on the 2nd fret. 3rd string will be open. 1st finger comes down on the 2nd string on the 1st fret, and leave the bass note on the G. Now this will be written the way you see it with piano music sometimes, you see it in a lot of sheet music. This will be written C, and then a slash mark, and then G, meaning a C chord with G in the bass. A standard C chord, but the G stays in the bass. So you can play this roll that I played in G, drop down on the C, just back and forth like that. Now here's your secret weapon chord. From the C, I want you to slide it up 2 frets. It's sort of an exotic D. Without explaining it, it's a D suspension, a D sus, because that 4th note is in there, but don't worry about that. And it has A in the bass. This is a nice chord to know, because if you're playing with your friends, they will all know this chord for D. But this chord will harmonize very nicely against it, and the chances are, unless they're watching this tape, of course, that they won't know this chord. So you have G, C, D with A in the bass was too fast, too much to say fast. So like, how many roads must a man walk down? And that really goes nicely against if somebody else is playing standard chords with a strum, like that. It's a very nice harmony you'll get. It's very simple, but it really works, and you hear it on a lot of records. So that's pattern number 1, it's the straight roll. Before I go any further, I have to say that finger playing is just like computers, with 1s and 0s. Finger playing is either a sequence, or it's a unison or a pinch together. That's it. It's all combinations of that. That being said, I'm going to just have you hold to 3 patterns until you really have them down, and later on On another lesson, we'll go into how to play melody lines and all these other things to really sweeten it up. But this is sort of the fundamental of it. Okay, so pattern number 1 is the straight roll. In any chord, you can play it anywhere, experiment with it. But these 3 chords are nice because they're all sequenced and your right hand is in the same place. If you go play another chord, you have to change the strings, which is doable, but limit yourself to start until you really get the hang of it. Pattern number 1, the straight roll. Now the second pattern is exactly like the first pattern, except you're going to leave off the final middle finger, the final M. So instead of thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb, middle, I go thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb, index, thumb. And it really changes it, just leaving that space at the end. Paul and Mary Buffs, that's the exact pattern that was used on John Denver's first hit song, Leaving on a Jet Plane. Right? That's exactly. But it's the same thing. It's the straight roll. You're just leaving off the final M. So for lack of a better thing to call it, I call it the dropped M roll, because it is. You're just leaving out the M. So first, there's a straight roll. As I say, the straight roll sort of, you can lose track of where you are. It's because it's so seamless. Sort of like, where's the one? But with the other one, if you drop that, okay? And the third pattern, and the one that drives the most in terms of rhythm, is that you play the thumb, and then when you come over to play the 4th string with the thumb, pinch with your middle finger, thumb and middle together. So it'll be thumb and then thumb and middle. And the pinch is on the 2nd beat, so you're playing on the 4th string and the 2nd string. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 are just a half roll, just more of what you've already done, like that. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a really good pattern. And you can mix them up. You have, obviously, I mean, you can play one pattern like this, and then just follow with the straight roll. But that's up to you, and just experiment with them. But the main thing is play 3 separate patterns until you really have them down. Throw this in for dessert. When you're up here on this D, if you want a very fancy E minor, it's an E minor 9th. Don't worry about explanation of that yet. Just take the bass note off and play that low E as an open bass note, but leave that little D chord in place. That, again, that harmonizes very well against the standard E minor chord. It's just one of those things. So you can play G,